This is a video review of the film. The film contains actors over 18 years of age. The video is made for entertainment purposes. The author of the video does not intend to offend anyone. Hi all. Today I will talk about the movie, The Lobster. In this strange and creepy hotel, single people must find a partner in 45 days. Otherwise, they are turned into animals. Maids should help their clients and increase their interest in women.
But I'm afraid we have to do it. Spread your legs.
A sad woman is driving in her car along a country road. She stops next to a field where donkeys are grazing. A woman gets out of her car and shoots one donkey several times. Then he returns to the car and drives away. David sits on the couch and talks to his wife for the last time. The woman leaves David for another man. David is upset and asks only one question.
Does he wear glasses or contact lenses?
Glasses.
The next day, David takes the dog with him and leaves on a special bus. Employees of a famous hotel bring David to his new home. The woman at the reception asks David some important questions. She asks how long David has been married, if he has any chronic illnesses, and what his sexuality is. David says he prefers women and wants to try to find a new wife. A woman asks David about his dog. David says that this is his brother who lived in this hotel several years ago. David signs the contract and goes to his room. From this day on, David has 45 days to find a wife. Otherwise, he will be turned into an animal. David looks out the window and sees several bodies lying on the ground. These are loners who did not want to live in a hotel and ran away. This hotel has a lot of rules that David and other residents must strictly follow. In order to return to the city, David must find himself a woman who has at least one similar trait. In the room, there is a gun hanging on the wall that David will use for hunting. Each of the hotel residents must go hunting, and if David catches one escaped loner, he will get one extra day. The manager of this hotel comes into David's room. She explains the rules again and asks David which animal he chose. He wants to become a lobster if he can't find a wife. The manager says that this is a very rare animal and she respects his choice, because usually people want to become a dog or other predatory animal. David says that lobsters live 100 years and remain fertile until the end of their lives. David is handcuffed and his arm is fastened. This is necessary so that David does not touch his sausage. But at night, David easily frees his hand. In the morning, he comes for breakfast. All singles sit at separate tables, but they can communicate with each other. David immediately pays attention to women. A woman with nosebleeds, a woman who loves cookies, and an emotionless woman. Suddenly, a man named John starts talking to David. He introduces David to his friend Robert. He suggests taking a walk together a little later. David agrees. Robert tells David about his dream. He wants to find a wife and will go on a yacht with her. Only a couple of a man and a woman who could fall in love with each other can get on this yacht. After breakfast, newcomers must talk about themselves and their traits. John says that his mother was turned into a she-wolf and he climbed into her enclosure to meet her. But other wolves bit his leg, and after that, he became lame. In the evening, David invites a girl whose nose is bleeding to a dance. But David understands that she is not suitable for him because they do not have common features.
I'm sorry I've got blood on your shirt. But don't worry, there are many ways to remove bloodstains from clothing.
People are trying to communicate with each other in the hope of finding a partner. But John, Robert, and David have failed so far. The next day, David goes hunting for the first time. He and the other residents must hunt for the escaped loners who are hiding in this forest. David finds one man but fails to catch him. During the hunt, David notices that the insensitive woman takes great pleasure in catching fugitives and does it better than anyone else. In the evening, it turns out that this woman caught a lot of people. She can live in this hotel for another 150 days. In the morning, a maid comes to David to replenish his ammunition. She must also take a mandatory action.
It's awful.
I know. But I'm afraid we have to do it.
She comes up to David and rubs against him. She waits for David to reach the peak of emotion and stops. In this way, David should be motivated to find a woman. During the day, the maid takes part in a theater production. In this way, they want to show the advantages of having a husband or wife. During breakfast, Robert is approached by the hotel manager and the maid. They found out that Robert used his hand to get pleasure. This is strictly prohibited, and he was punished. Robert asks to be forgiven, but the hotel manager turns on the toaster and asks the assistant to do it.
This is not necessary, please. I've been good otherwise.
At night, David goes hunting again. This time, he sits next to a woman who loves cookies. She is completely desperate to find a husband and offers herself to David. She just wants to spend time with him in the room and does not even hope for a romantic relationship with him. She says that if she doesn't find anyone in the next few days, she will jump out of the window. David says he can't come to her because he can't leave his dog alone. It was a very stupid excuse, but it worked. David feels sorry for the woman, but he does not condemn her choice. While hunting, David again failed to shoot anyone. The next day, Robert asks his friends what animals they want to become, but John gets angry and says that he is going to become an animal. Later, he decides to meet a girl whose nose is bleeding. During communication, he realizes that they have no common features. He decides to deceive her. John hits his nose and starts bleeding. He tells the girl that he also bleeds very often. David saw what John did. In the evening, John and his girlfriend announce that they are ready to try living together. They are moved to another building of the hotel. The hotel administrator says that they will be closely monitored, and if they start arguing, they will be given the child in order to strengthen the relationship. John comes to David and thanks him for not telling anyone about his deception.
What's worse, to die of cold and hunger in the woods, or to have a nosebleed from time to time?
David only has 7 days left to find himself a woman. He decides to talk to the girl who only has 2 days left, but she wants to remain alone and become an animal. 2 days later, the girl turns into a beautiful pony. Seeing this, David understands that he does not want the same fate for himself. He wants to remain human and comes up with a plan for this. He spent the whole day watching a woman who has no feelings, and he realized that it would be easiest for him to make friends with her. On the upcoming hunt, he wants to come up to her and say that he likes to watch people suffer, but he decides to talk to her first. On this day, a woman who loves cookies jumped out of the window. She lay on the ground for a long time and screamed in pain. David decides to talk to the woman,
I hope she suffers quite a bit before she dies.
but she doesn't care about his words. She asks him to leave. David is not going to give up, because this is his last chance to remain human. Later, he meets a woman in the jacuzzi. He starts a conversation with her. A woman eats an olive and chokes, and David realizes that she is deceiving him. He pretends that he doesn't care.
I think we are a match.
In the evening, David and his woman go to a new room for couples. Robert has gotten used to the role of a psychopath well. The woman does not suspect that John is deceiving her. One day they meet John and his girl. They were given a child because they constantly argue. David pushes the girl away from him so that the woman does not understand that he was deceiving her. But at night, during bedtime, David accidentally makes sounds, and the woman began to guess that David was deceiving her. In the morning, a woman wakes up David and tells him that she killed his dog. David is shocked, but he does not show emotion.
Doesn't matter.
The woman begins to describe the process and says that the dog was whining a lot. It's hard for David to hear this. He goes to the bathroom and sees his brother. He begins to cry, and the woman sees this.
These aren't tears, it's just water. I just want this.
I knew you were lying. I can't understand why you did it.
She goes to the hotel to tell everything to the boss. David manages to break free from her grip and escape. David finds a gun and shoots the woman. The maid helps David escape, and she asks him to shoot her so that she will not be suspected. David doesn't know why the maid helped him. He runs into the forest. In the morning, he is found by the lone survivors. The girl invites him to go with them, but warns him that they also have rules. In their community, romantic relationships and physical contact are prohibited. Violation of the rules will result in severe punishment. For example, this poor guy was just kissing a woman. During a survival lesson, the group is attacked. David is meeting with Robert and asking him not to shoot him. At this moment, a woman comes up from behind and saves David.
If you want to repay me, there is a way. If you kill a rabbit, bring it to me to eat.
David fulfills the woman's request. Meanwhile, the maid brings the keys to the hotel and a pistol for the leader of the forest inhabitants. The red-haired woman promises to accept the maid into their group. Soon, David is sent on an important mission, along with the leader of the group and 2 other people. They must pretend to be married couples to shop at the store. On the way back, the woman says that she wears contact lenses because she is nearsighted. David says that he is also nearsighted. They also visit the red-haired woman's parents. David kisses the woman so that they will not be suspected of deception, although in reality, he did it because he likes this woman. Upon returning to camp, they discuss their nearsightedness, and this common trait causes the couple to have strong feelings for each other. They begin to secretly communicate with each other every day. This is not why sign language was invented. One night, the wildlings attack the hotel. David wants to go to the yacht to tell him that John deceived everyone, and he really does it. Meanwhile, the red-haired woman and her gang enter the hotel manager's bedroom. She gives the man a gun and offers to kill his wife to save himself. The man pulls the trigger, but the revolver was unloaded. Now, the hotel manager has learned that their hotel is not working properly. After a successful mission, the wildlings return to the forest and dance. David asks his girlfriend to dance. During the next mission, David and his girlfriend can be together again and kiss in front of everyone. But the red-haired woman suspected them of breaking the rules. Soon, David comes up with an escape plan. One of the following nights, they must escape from the forest. The red-haired woman makes David dig a grave. She makes him lie inside the grave and bury himself with dirt. The next day, she orders David's girlfriend to have eye surgery. The woman is afraid that if she cures her myopia, she will stop liking David. But the woman completely loses her sight and accidentally kills the maid. She tells David everything and thinks that he will leave her. But David decided to help her. He brought her food and entertainment every day. He tried to find another similar trait in the woman, but he couldn't. In the end, David decided to run away with her anyway. They pack their things and go to the city. They reach a diner and David goes to the toilet. He takes out a knife and plans to blind himself for her sake, but David can't muster the courage to do it. The woman is left alone in the cafe, waiting for David and not understanding what to do next. And this is where the film ends. Write your opinion about this in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to be the first to watch new videos.